Bob, that's close enough. You want to gavel us in?
Yes, ma'am, I will. I'll call a meeting to order of the regular board meeting of directors Wednesday, November 18th at 6:30. And I'll ask General Manager to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Determination of a quorum, General Manager?
All directors are present. We have a quorum.
All right. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Is there a second?
A second.
All right. Roll call, General Manager.
President Johnson?
Aye.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
Director Hund?
Aye.
All right. I have received no public comment. I'll entertain the question if there are any. I guess we could take them. Hearing none, I'll move to item number 6, the consent calendar. Matters on the consent calendar considered routine in nature and will be enacted upon in a single motion without discussion. Any board member or member of the public may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and acted on separately. We have the draft meetings from October 21st, the draft annual financial report and management report for fiscal year ending 6/30/20 and 19, and that was reviewed by the Finance Committee on November 10th.
If I may say something as well, President Johnson, that's been included in the consent calendar. It's an item that must be passed in December. And since we only have one meeting, staff wanted to make sure that we got this approved by the board. However,
okay,
as is done in every year, the auditor will be coming back in December to give us a full presentation to the board and the public.
Excellent. I'll entertain comments from the board of directors or a motion.
Mr. President, on that, on the consent calendar on the financial report,
Yes, sir.
I just had one question. I noticed that several places it had a date of December 20th. I was wondering why was that?
Ann or Susan, can you answer that? And where are they, Mike?
Yes, I'm not sure about December 20th. I believe I saw the 16th, which is the date that we anticipated the presentation to take place.
Right.
So that's usually the official date that they put on the document.
Okay, very good. And so that'll be an agenda item on the December meeting?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, the presentation, correct.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'll save all my questions for then.
Any other comments? All right, I'll say that this was a riveting report that we received at the Finance Committee, and Director Unger and I were just at awe. So good job, staff, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I move we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
All right, General Manager.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Hund?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
President Johnson?
Aye. Moving on to item 7, Director of Operations job description. Recommend that the Board of Directors adopt the Director of Operations job description, replacing the Assistant General Manager of Operations job description. And this was also reviewed by the Finance Committee on November 10th. And I think that's Sarah.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. Everybody remembers back in 2018, the district hired Weston to conduct an organizational assessment, and the board adopted the implementation plan. We've made great strides to complete that implementation. We're probably about 85% there. This is one of the next pieces for us to realign our organizational structure for improved business efficiency and succession planning. We've developed the new Director of Operations job description. This will replace the AGM of Operations position. This position will be responsible for the operations department, including water transmission, distribution, water operations, and maintenance. They will be in charge of a lot of other programs, including safety, GIS, water storage, recharge, regulatory, etc. This position will report to the general manager, and it will be on range 53 of the salary schedule, which is the same level of the other director positions within the district. It's a 12.5% reduction from the AGM of operations. That's the end of my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right, I'll move down the line. If we'll start with Director Flowen.
I consider that staff has an excellent idea of the qualifications required for that position, and I'll rely heavily on the general manager's opinion as to who he wants directly under him. I did kind of notice that with the title change of that for that position, that any reference to that person in any of our other documents also has to be changed. In other words, when I look in the local hazard mitigation plan, it describes the old definition in there, and that has to be updated to the new definition or classification. And I don't know what the priority is on such a thing, or if there's requirements for such things, but down the road, minimally, when we review all of these documents for updates and such, we have to make sure our ducks are lined up when it comes to the job titles of the people that are actually doing the work. Thank you. That's all.
All right, Director Hund.
Only that it's really a very thorough and I think excellent job description. My compliments to Sarah, and I'm sure Mark had a hand in it, and anybody else that worked on it. In my current position, I'm involved in helping to write and review a number of different job descriptions, and it's very impressive. And I also, I know this person will be compensated well, but when I look at the range of duties that they have, I know that a lot is going to be expected of them. So, and it's very, very clearly laid out, and I think it will be helpful when people are applying for the job to review this description and, you know, really determine if their experience and qualifications are appropriate for the job. So just my compliments.
Thank you. It's always a collaborative effort.
Director Reynolds.
Well, I was pleased to see the financial impact of a 12.5% reduction. But looking at it, I saw the salary range, and it says salary range of 53, and I don't have the I have no idea what salary range 53 is. At this point, I don't think I really need to discuss it further in the meeting, but I would be kind of curious what salary range 53 is. The responsibilities I was happy with. Qualifications was impressive. The list of qualifications required 10 years of board of a broad and extensive experience. I think would bring in the right candidate for that job.
Yeah, I concur.
Director Reynolds, our salary schedule, all of the positions are listed on a range number, and that helps make sure that all of our job descriptions are up to date. So that's why we don't put the exact numbers on there, because if a COLA comes into play, then everything would be out of date. So
I understand that. I just didn't know what the range 53 was.
I can send you over the salary schedule, and if you like, it's the bottom end is 113 and the top end is 149. Some change.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Other than that, it looked like a lot of work went into this job description, and I'm pleased with what I saw.
All right, thank you. Director Unger.
Director Reynolds asked my question, and those
Okay.
that salary range schedule is so hard to read. It's so tiny, and it's an eye exam. But,
if you go to our website, you can blow it up.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, understanding is certainly it will change, but to know what the range is, you know, today and so if we approve this evening, then how soon will this go out looking for somebody?
So we will fly the position internally as our policy states for 5 days, and if we don't have any internal applicants, then we'll fly it externally.
So you're looking at actually putting this out there pretty quick?
We are.
Oh, good, good, good. Thank you, that's it.
And I have no comments other than thank you very much, a lot of work. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the Director of Operations job description. And I guess we just need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, General Manager?
President Johnson,
Aye.
Vice President Unger,
Aye.
Director Reynolds,
Aye.
Director Flowen,
Aye.
and Director Hund.
Aye.
So moved, so done. Thank you very much. Hard work. I hope to see the applicants soon. Item number 8, if I'm not mistaken, and that would be the capacity fee reports for fiscal year ending 6/30/20. Recommend that the Board of Directors receive information only. And this also came before the Finance Committee on November 10th. And is that Ann?
Susan.
Susan, okay.
This is an annual requirement actually provided for the public. This is not actually for the board's use. This is a public document. Capacity fees are one-time development charges that are designed to cover the costs of each new meter's pro rata share of the infrastructure that has either already been constructed or will need to be constructed in the future to serve that individual meter. Capacity fees are legally restricted, and you know, we use these fees only for costs associated with growth related projects. So growth is expansion of the system. It's not replacement projects like our SERP program, which are normal operating costs that have to be funded through water rates or grants if we're so fortunate. We report quarterly about the funding that's in each of these funds, so you know what the amounts of the available revenues are, but these annual reports provide much more detail about the individual capacity charges received, the interest that we got on them, and any kind of projects that were completed with these proceeds. So in this year, and not for many years prior, we used a little over 60,000, actually nearly 61,000 of the wastewater capacity fees to fund the partial completion of the wastewater treatment strategy update. So we did not realize at the time that the project was not completed, because we don't typically do that. We use the funds when the projects are complete. We haven't used any other restricted capacity charges since 2008 when the H-zone replacement project was done, and there was a portion of that that was attributable to growth, and that piece was funded through the water capacity charges. And a similar calculation can and will be done for each of the SERP projects. The Saddleback project has a portion of it that is attributable to growth, and that portion of it we can use water capacity charges for. What else? We have increased the water capacity fund balance by 59% this year, from $329,000 roughly to $525,000. In addition, we have increased our sewer capacity fund 14% from $862,000 to $988,000. The vast majority, actually it's about 60% of the funding in the wastewater or sewer capacity fund comes from contributions from High Desert Medical Center. Their capacity fees were in excess of $1.1 million for their wastewater treatment plant there, and because they were a public agency and because the fees were in excess of $1 million, the board specifically authorized a 15-year note to pay that off over time, and they have actually, we bill them at the very beginning of the fiscal year, so as of today they have 6 more years remaining, so they owe us a little less than $450,000 more on their note, and then no more money forthcoming from them. So the reports reflect that water meters sold in 1920 included only 8 that were in the wastewater sewer area and 17 that were not. So still the majority of meters being sold are not in the wastewater area. And you know, we're hoping to somewhat address that through the update to the wastewater treatment strategy. This item was discussed at the Finance Committee on the 10th, and they recommend for that you receive the report. There were a few errors, and they're at the bottom of page 80 and 81, the very last items on each of those pages. There were some errors that were found as we reconciled this at year end. Many transactions, you know, flow through during the course of the year. Ordinarily, we correct these before this report ever comes to you. Unfortunately, because of the audit this year, the audit was already completed, and we were not about to go back and undo that. It's a big deal to undo that once it's done. And so we just carried those forward, and we made all these corrections on July 1. So these corrections are already made. Things get posted to wrong accounts. This happens. This is the world of finance. So those are ordinary things that happen. And so again, on page 80 is everything related to the water capacity charges that happened during the year, where we began with around $329,000. We got another $171,000 during the year. We got $2,000 of interest, and we should have ended with $502,000 roughly. For wastewater or sewer, we began with $862,000. We got another $168,000, $15,000 in interest. We spent nearly $61,000 for the partial wastewater treatment strategy update, and we ended with $983,000. So interestingly as well, that on the sewer capacity page 81, these are not all new meters. Our system is designed so that if you bought a meter back in 1973 for $400, but you never developed the property, and now in 2020 you're coming back to develop, and you happen to now be in the wastewater area, you're going to pay the wastewater capacity fee because the rules have changed in the ensuing time. If you developed back then, you don't have to pay because those were the rules at the time. But you didn't develop, you never took service, and now you have to comply with today's rules. So not all of these are brand new meters. It's kind of interesting.
Wow.
So unless there are some questions, that's really the gist of it.
All right, I'll thank you. I'll entertain comments from Director Reynolds.
Looking at the numbers, it's straightforward, and I appreciate the presentation, but I don't have any questions.
All right, Director Flowen, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the order here.
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
All right, Director Hund.
I think most of those meters were issued for my neighborhood.
Yes. A lot of them, you're right.
There is a real building boom going on up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
All right, Director Unger?
No, I have nothing. That was well covered in the Finance Committee, and good report.
Yes, thank you. I ditto that. So I'll entertain a motion to recommend that the Board of Directors receive for this for information only.
Do we need a vote on that?
Oh, good.
Well,
No.
no? Okay, so that's all we need to do is just the report.
Yes, it's just received for information only.
Got it. Okay. Moving on to item number 9, resolution 201022, appointing plan coordinator for ICMA RC retirement plan.
Susan.
And we're going to recommend that the board approve the resolution also. And I assume this is Sarah?
Nope, that's Susan.
Oh, okay. Apologies.
This is related to succession planning. I am currently appointed as something and a replacement needs to be designated. So the district offers a deferred compensation for 57 retirement plan for any employee that chooses to participate, and the district shares some participation there. The plan is administered by ICMARC, and they require an official plan coordinator designated by the board of directors. The plan coordinator is me currently, and they are identified by title. My title is also going away as I retire. The plan coordinator, when we identify them by title, it makes future administration easier as long as we maintain those same titles over time. Then the next person with the same title can step right into the position. Only the title must be designated by the board, and then that plan coordinator appoints other important people in this process, the primary contact specifically, who typically then appoints other contacts. We want to create redundancy here. We don't ever want to have one person at the water district responsible for something like this. So we are recommending that we designate the Director of Finance as the plan coordinator, when the Director of Administration will continue to handle the work associated with the plan, because based on exactly what you assumed, Bob, that we would that this would be an HR task. Most of this work is HR related, but we don't want it to reside solely again in one person here at the Water District. So because this involves some board authorization, we want to also incorporate this language into the administration code so we don't lose track of it over time. Okay, so the resolution is written to drag this into the administration code. So this is based on language substantially provided by ICMARC. They actually want you know, it to look exactly like this. So we are designating the Director of Finance as the ICMARC plan coordinator for the deferred compensation plan. So that's my report.
All right, I'll entertain questions from the board. Director Reynolds?
The first question is, I'm not familiar, what is 457?
Sarah?
It's a 457 plan, it's deferred compensation. It works similarly to a 401k in the public sector. This is a private, I'm sorry, in the private sector. This is a public sector version of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I thought it was just some magic secret file number or something. I appreciate that. Susan, I can tell that you were the one that wrote the language on this. As you were describing it, you were almost reading it or reciting it word for word. I was practically reading right along as you were saying it. Holy mackerel, are you still going to come back to visit and help us out when you're gone?
TBD, I guess.
Probably. I have no further questions.
All right, Director Flowen.
No, I have nothing.
All right, Director Hund. Director Hund?
No comment.
Okay. Director Unger?
Look, it looks great to me. Another case of, you know, good, hard, thoughtful work. And those little things like Director Flowen noticed, how all these changes have to go through all the different layers of, you know, codes and documents and handbooks and such and such. So thank you. This is good.
Yeah, and thank you. I have one little question, since Susan, you're already ahead of me with the admin code here. With the Director of Administration doing the work, will the work be identified as to what that entails?
The Director of Administration doing the work. I'm not sure what you're...
You mean Director of Finance?
It says, go ahead, Sarah.
I apologize, I missed the last part of the question. Could you repeat it?
Yeah, we're going to add this into the admin code, and I think it's great. I just was questioning. It says that the director of administration will continue to handle the work associated with the plan, and I'm wondering, will that work? The word "work" will that be identified as to what that is?
It's administering the plan, so it's signing up employees when they want to sign up for the plan. It's
so, I mean,
changing.
So it'll be in the admin code as to what those specific details are.
No, not necessarily, because they can change quite frequently, but essentially finance will be responsible for getting the money to ICMRA,
right.
What is it? And I will be responsible for the administrative work of the plan.
Okay, but I assume when it's drafted for the admin code, that'll be somewhat detailed, so everybody's got their piece of the pie.
No. Actually, the language going into the admin code is on page 83 of the resolution. It shows you about 3/4 of the way down. It starts with Article 12.02. That is specific language. That is the only language that will be brought into the admin code.
Okay. That's fine. I was just asking. That's great. No, good job. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion that we recommend that the Board of Directors approve the Resolution 201022.
So moved.
As a second?
Second.
All right. General Manager?
President Johnson?
Aye.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
And Director Hunt?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on, resolution number 201023, appointing authorized contacts for the district's credit cards. There we go. Recommend that the Board of Directors approve the resolution. And Susan?
Yep. Thank you. Another routine, fairly routine item related to succession planning and my retirement. The district contracts with the Bank of America for credit card, for our business credit cards, and as part of the succession plan, we have to appoint a new authorized contact for these accounts. I am the only authorized contact currently, and the authorized contacts are allowed to increase credit limits, add or delete credit cards. So this is an important, meaningful task. The board requires that we actually identify authorized contacts by resolution, including name and title. So this is one of those situations where if the person changes, you have to change the resolution. So the current resolution in place identifies me and my title. It identifies a prior general manager and their title as general manager, so that doesn't work anymore, okay? So this is a case where they don't allow that to happen. But at any rate, they have laid out substantially the format of this resolution as well. They require our tax ID number in the resolution, and then the titles, the names and the titles of the people who are identified. We are calling out Mark, our general manager, our director of finance, and our director of administration as the three people, again, for that redundancy. And so, in case one of these people leaves, this is, we don't want to have to do this all the time. So, routine matter. It also requires signature by 2 directors. We don't usually have that, so kind of different. Anyway,
Thank you.
That's all.
All right, I'll start with Director Reynolds.
Okay, well, as Susan says, it is a matter of routine and making sure that the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. I do see that General Manager Ban, Director of Finance Ann Roman, and Director of Administration Sarah will be the administrators of the credit card. And I guess, Susan, you got to give your card up.
It hasn't done me that good for a long time, so.
Okay,
that's all I have for a comment.
All right, Director Flowen.
I was intrigued about each person having to have a tax ID number. Did I hear that?
No, that's the district's tax ID number.
Okay, so it'd be the same one for all 3 people.
Right, it's right at the top of the resolution, near the top, first line.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Director Hund.
Well, when I think of Susan as related to this, I think of a variation on a song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Water District. There's all these different things that she's doing. You know, this is all about her retirement right now. And so I feel, it feels a little bittersweet to me because I value you so much as part of the district, Susan.
Thank you so much.
All right, Director Unger.
That was great, Director Hunt. That was great. And I imagine you, if we approve this tonight, I imagine you want to see us in here in the office like by tomorrow or so to sign these?
I don't think there's any, you know, real urgency like that, but it's something that obviously needs to happen sooner rather than later. So. Okay,
thank you.
All right. Well, then I'll entertain a motion that we recommend that the board approve resolution number 2010-23.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, General Manager?
President Johnson?
Aye.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
And Director Hund?
Reluctantly, aye.
All right, item number 11, General Manager report. General Manager Ban.
Perfect. So a couple things to touch on. We got our 25,000 feet of pipe in for our Tilford project. So that's up on the job site already and ready to go. We'll be starting that project here real soon. We're putting out the bid for the materials here beginning of next week, possibly tomorrow. Starting to talk back with the state on well 14. They asked for some additional information on our operations plan for that, so that's good news. They're looking at that, and hopefully we'll get that completed up here pretty soon. I just supplied them with all the information they were looking for today, so I'm hoping we can get that wrapped up so we can hopefully start on that project before we get too far advanced into the Tilford project. So. There was some interest in our customer service remodel. I said we were going to receive our plans this week, and we did. So hopefully I'll be able to push that out for our permit tomorrow. Not a whole lot going on with that, so we can get that thing started as soon as we receive approval from them. And let's see, I might have saw guys from our CERT crew out on the highway again today doing the final paving for that portion of 12-inch main line we installed along the highway there. Had to shut down another lane again today so they can complete that. So did a really good job, and we'll be moving up to the south end of that project to finish the paving up there here real soon too, weather permitting. So, and also the state had approached us to find out we were selected amongst I guess a select few water districts throughout California to complete a COVID impact financial study with them. And they were supposed to call us with a phone interview, ended up sending some polling information over to us. And Ann had completed that so well that we didn't end up having to have the phone interview. So that saved us some time there.
Yeah.
So hopefully the information that they requested will certainly get heard by the powers that be at the state here, and we could start looking at some of the impacts that this is having on our water agencies, let alone several other public agencies that are out there. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions for me at all, if not, I'll hand it over to Kathleen.
All right, Kathleen.
Okay. Well, mine's pretty short. Just for those who didn't hear, our Halloween in the garden went very well, and our signs from the grant were debuted, even though they were temporary signs. So we're back on track with the grant. The community loved the event. All is well. The permanent signs are in transit right now. I got notified that 3 were damaged, so I'm allowed to keep the 3 damaged ones. They're sending replacement ones. Those permanent signs should be installed, I'm hoping by December 1st, but you know, everything depends on when everything shows up. So also, the swamp cooler studies stats have not been compiled into a report I can disseminate yet. I was hoping to have something for you today. I may end up just sending, if I get even an email of numbers, I may just send it out to you. It's due. They knew I wanted it yesterday, but here I am, no numbers. It's on its way. Also, please spread the word. United Way of the Desert will be out at the market. Actually, they'll be at the commercial entity, Gail Austin's place, the tattoo place, at her patio, doing personal intakes for people who need assistance with their bill. And that'll be Saturday, November 28th from 9 to 11, and appointments are encouraged. And lastly, the Legislative Public Information Committee meeting has been moved to December 16th, 9:30 a.m. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the general manager or Kathleen? Then hearing none, I'll move on to item number 12, Director's Report attended. And we have the Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors, October 22nd, and that was Director Flowen.
Yes, sir. Bear with me, that was a while ago, and I'm terrible at writing notes now. There was some discussion of the tunnel project, and it seemed as if it was a kind of a hard thing to handle. They're trying to get an idea on what the cost is, which is really hard to do. They're estimating, and they know that as they over the years, as they estimate the costs, they're going to expand and get larger. I think they're looking at something like a $12 million or $1 billion budget for that thing for so much underground work. I think it's something like 40 miles or 44 miles, something like that. The significant thing off of the meeting just a little bit is that it appears that there's going to be a change in the people that are directors on the board at Mojave Water Agency. What I'm seeing is that one of the directors got elected to the state assembly, and one of the other ones, it appears to me, simply lost the election. So it'll be interesting to see how the addition of 2 new directors, wink, wink, will affect what goes on at the Mojave Water Agency, and then therefore what the impact might be on us. Funding for something, for example, like the tunnel project and all that. Is going to be spread out among all of the water retailers or wholesalers, I should say. And we are a customer of the Mojave Water Agency, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any potential pass along costs as time goes by in the rate we pay for the water that we buy. But that's about all. Thank you.
All right. Move on to the Mojave Water Agency TAC meeting, and that was Vice President Unger.
Yeah, let's see here. That was on, also a while ago, October 29th. And there was an update on the Small Water Systems Program by Dustin Hardwick. He's the Deputy Director of the California Rural Water Association. Their longtime field tech, Richard Selby, I bet a lot of us knew him or whatever. He's no longer there, but there's a new person, Belinda Carroll. This group, one of the things they report on was the looking to support household water wells, including in Newberry Springs. And the state of California has accepted new proposals for 20 new wells, 17 of which are in the Mojave Water Agency service area. They're also working with PG&E in the Hinckley region to clean up the total dissolved solids, arsenic, uranium pollution. And Deputy Director Hardwick, he referenced a potable water kiosk as low-cost solutions for people that live there, where potable water can be dispensed from like a vendor or a single source to fill containers. And I've thought of all the pictures I've seen of like in Africa and, you know, third world countries here. This is California. And, but they're also looking at installing small groundwater treatment systems. You know, remember this extremely disadvantaged community, and this pollution problem is decades long. It's a sacrifice zone, and still looking at it. The TAC got a presentation from Kennedy Jenks and Westwater Research on their preliminary water banking alternatives. This presentation was given to the Mojave board on September 24th, and I detailed that on our October 21st meeting. The second round of Prop 1 grant funding is 8 months in the future. Mojave Water Agency's, their conservation manager, Nick Schneider, he gave an update on some legislation going on at the state. The governor's executive order 82-20 is to conserve 30% of natural and working lands by 2030. And I guess it includes some language from an Assembly Bill 3030 having to do with 104 million acres of land and ocean conservation. But it would still set aside 22 million acres in the desert. But they're looking at tagging 100,000 acres for wind and solar, you know, which we love. Nick said the Mojave Water Agency wants to be in discussions, direct discussions on all this. He said there are several task forces. Aqua is addressing it, and the state will have a website forthcoming for the 8220 executive order. There was also supposed to be a workshop that next day, October 30th, for SB 200 and the Safer Fund. SB, and then there's other stuff he talked about, SB 221, which prohibits approval of tentative map or development agreement for more than 500 dwelling units unless sufficient water supply is or will be available prior to completion of the project. I mean, we're in a drought. And Senate Bill 610 is about a water supply assessment where they also must demonstrate available water supply for residential with 500 dwelling units, retail with 500,000 square feet of floor space, commercial with 250,000 square feet of floor space, and industrial with 650,000 square feet of floor space or housing that would be for 1,000 persons. Meeting adjourned at 11:08. The next TAC is scheduled for December 17th.
Okay. All right. Morongo Basin Pipeline Commission, and Director Unger, you stole a little bit of my thunder. Was somewhat redundant with that, with the Senate Bill 610 with the large developments, and they project it could be somewhat problematic. And so the State Water Project is trying to look at how to, decline some of its long-term liabilities. They said one of the challenges was export certainty with the Delta Conveyance Project. And now the governor's executive order has moved this apparently from the twin tunnels to the single tunnel. And according to the engineers, they say the project is basically the same. It's just a little different configuration. But their challenges are about the export certainty with the sea rise and issues that may occur in the Delta. So I thought that was kind of interesting if anybody's ever been up in that area. So they moved on from there to, I'm trying to read my notes too, Tom. Once again, the Delta Conveyance approximate cost on this for construction is $12.1 billion. And then the whole total project is $15.9 billion. They think it'll give a 20-year supply, moderate risk. They're doing a lot of modeling with the regulations and climate and seismic studies. They think they're going to save millions, maybe billions, but there's also a 50-50 probability here in terms of reliability. So that's where that is. They moved on to water banking, and this was the third workshop. And if I'm not mistaken, I've missed the others, but it seems like they're flowing all along. But it's essentially the same process that we've been hearing from our reports prior to. And they continued on with the State Water Project, that they're meeting all demands at this point, and they're on track. So that was, in essence, sort of the pipeline mission or meeting. And I will move on from there to the Finance Committee. Vice President Unger, any comments?
No, a lot of the stuff that we went through, we put it to the board tonight, so.
Yeah, we get to do it twice. Water Resources and Operations Committee, November 10th, that was myself and Director Reynolds. Director Reynolds, comments?
Oh, thank you. Right before the meeting started, my internet went down, and that created a challenge. And President Johnson, to the rescue. Thank you so much for being able to chair that meeting. That was a lifesaver. On the meeting itself, it was discussions on the what was the name of that?
The Joshua Retreat.
Retreat Center. Thank you. Discussions on them and some of the water challenges that they have that are pressing. And so it looks like Joshua Basin Water District to the rescue, hopefully, and we'll be moving forward on that. And that's all I have to report on that.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting stuff. And I don't know, I assume the general manager will spin us up, or the rest of the board, if indeed they're interested, in terms of where they're progressing with that. So I think we'll leave it at that. And I'll move on, if there's no questions, to the Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors on the 12th. And once again, they went through well monitoring, water resources, Delta management, approval of the Delta conveyance and design and the cost of it. And I'll get to that in a second. Website design, and the workshop was once again with the water reliability and banking, and once again with the Delta project, 12.1 billion, total 15.9. Mojave Water Agency, just coming as a stakeholder, is going to be 8.5 million for commitment, and their one-year commitment, which I thought was very interesting the way they drafted this up with the legal folks, was that to mitigate any long-term risk, they have a one-year option to put in 3.5 million and go in basically to work on the design and the project. And after that, they're basically not committed, or they can continue on. But one of the interesting comments I thought that came out of the meeting was, and this is Susan, they have a seat at the table. So once again, it's important to be there. And if you're not, then, you know, the decisions are made by somebody else. So the planning on this thing is, I have written down here $800,000 alone. So that's quite a chunk of change. And the meeting lasted for about an hour and a half. And that's all I have on that. And item 13, future director meetings and training opportunities. Will be closed for Thanksgiving on the 26th through the 27th. Citizens Advisory Council will be on December 8th, 6 p.m. Finance, December 9th. It's one of the most riveting meetings you can ever attend. Water Resources and Operation, December 9th at 10:30. And the Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors on December 10th. And that'll be Vice President Unger. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn unless there's some further comments.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Well,
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, second on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved, so done. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Who had first?
Bye.
Who had first?
Thank you.